There's still some time for parents who want to cast the first round of registration for local public schools. To tell us about one source of help with making decisions is the executive director of the Boston School Finder, Latoya Gale. Thank you very much for being with us, Latoya.
Hi, thank you for having me again.
Well, I want to start off with one of today's news topics, and that's about all these children who seem to have been leaving the city really for the past few decades. What do you say to parents who might have somebody who's turning, 4, 5, or 6 years old, and they're thinking of bailing out too? What would you say to them?
I would say, look before you leap. How about that? I think especially when we're talking about our littlest children in the city, there's some great options here. So if schools are the only reason that you're thinking of leaving the city, take a look before you leap and head out of town.
Now, I know one thing that parents will probably pick up, especially from the Boston Globe version of the story, that we'll see. Boston Public Schools, it's 75% children in poverty. I don't want to send my kids into that. I want something that's more balanced, at least economically. I mean, don't people ever say things like that to you sometimes?
No, people do say that those type of things. People have lots of different reasons why they don't want to send their kids to school. And, one of the things that we'll never have diversity in all kinds of ways, including income, if only poor families have to be in our public schools. We need families with all sorts of means and who come from all sorts of backgrounds to want to choose to have their children around children who are not like them. And that, that's top to bottom. Whether you're rich, poor, whether you're black, white, we have to make those choices to say we want to be integrated.
Now, we've also been talking about schools as if it's just a matter of demographics and test scores. But if you're a parent, you're raising a child, isn't a school also about, what goes on and how the parent relates to the school and other
Absolutely.
parents?
I think family engagement is like one of the, for myself, I think it's one of those things that I define quality as in a school. It's how are those teachers interacting with you when you walk into the school? Do they know your kid's name? Are they culturally competent? Do books and curriculum reflect the students who are in our classroom? There's all kinds of things, but also just what type of relationships do they have with the families who go to their school?
Well, right now, of course, the main thing for parents is there's a deadline coming up, and we should be talking about different deadlines and different grade levels. So how does this look? So
the first deadline for BPS's priority round is coming up on January 31st. So if you have a child who's entering the pre-K grades, which are called K0 and K1, or you're transitioning to 6th or 7th grade, or you're entering high school at 9th grade, you should apply now by January 31st. So if you're not currently a BPS student, you'll need to go to a welcome center to do this. If you are a BPS student, you should get a form from your school or from the district where you can select your schools, but make sure to turn that in time.
Now, I know it's kind of late, but I guess one good idea is to visit a school before you make a final decision. Can you still do that?
You still can, school, I say this all the time, schools' doors are open every day. So you can still go and visit a school and say, hey, I like this or I don't, and I want that on my list. And even if you've already made those selections, you can still go visit a school to see if I got that school, is that the school that I want?
Chris, the other thing is that people might think a school at a given grade level is like every other school at that grade level, but there are differences that people should be checking out, right?
No, I think there's lots of differences. Every school building has its own culture, just like every family. You can live in the same neighborhood, but every house has its own culture. Our schools are the same way. And so you have to find a school that has a culture fit for your kid and for your family. And that varies, and there's some great ones across the city. So let's go take a visit and see what matches you. This is BNN News, and we're talking with Latoya Gale from Boston School Finder. Latoya, how does the Finder work exactly? A parent goes online, and what happens next? So if you come on our website, bostonschoolfinder.org, we list every school in the city. So you have all your public options, so that includes your charters and your district schools, and then we have some private options too that are really are affordable private options in the city, like our parochial schools. So you can look through there. You can make a list. We tell parents, make a list. We have a guide up there. Make a list, visit the schools if you can, and then apply across the board to all of them.
Now, we should mention that with the Boston Public Schools, it's no sure bet you're going to
Yeah.
get choice number one. So I guess
Right.
it's good to have some B and C plans.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good to have B and C plans, and I think that's true for all public sectors. They're a lottery, whether it's charter or whether it's district. So you're not guaranteed your choice, but if you enter in the earlier rounds, you have a better chance.
And we should mention finally, although the BPS deadline, at least most of it, is on January 31st
Yes.
for the first round. For charter schools, again, when is that happening?
That's at the end of February, so you have until the end of February to apply to most charters. And you can apply online. You can go to our website and we'll link you right to the charter application. There's one application for all the charters in the city, and it's really easy.
And finally, we should mention one more time for
Yeah.
people who want to go online and do this. What's the website?
It's bostonschoolfinder.org.
Thank you very much for being
All
with
right.
us.
Thank you.
Latoya Gale from Boston School Finder. In a moment, honoring America's Black veterans, we'll hear about a new calendar and an idea for a new series of postage stamps.